Okay. What's going on, guys? All right. So I don't even know if I'm live yet because it tells me I'm live here, but it doesn't always
Let
tell
me
me on
check.
YouTube. Okay, wait, hold on. Are we good? Let's see.
I can check.
Okay, so we are live. We're officially live. So I went live right now because the purpose of this live, we're going to spend the next 45 minutes to an hour reviewing some calls. Wanted to go live and do this, have a good time with it. But we got into a very interesting conversation that I thought merited being addressed publicly for everybody to discuss. And that is haircutting habits, right? Kiamu and myself are refined and distinguished individuals who just go for the clean look, right? Perhaps by choice, perhaps not, right? You know, whatever that happens to be, it's none of your business. Mind your business. But for the people who are haired individuals, right? We were discussing habits. So Samir, as you can see, as he, delicately appears in this Zoom right now, has the fresh drizzy, is what we call it, the fresh drizzy. Drake is joining us in the Zoom today. He gets his haircut every Friday, fresh to the barber, edge up, right, on the beard game looking right, sides looking good. It's a proper fade. Samir goes and gets a proper fade every Friday. Jasper is more the Steve Jobs approach, like what's personal hygiene? I'm going to take a 4-second shower. I may brush my hair and I'll get it cut once in a while, right? And then you got James, who looks like an action figure. You can't see him here because he doesn't have his camera on. Oh, there he is. Hold on, he's jumping in here. Let's see if he pops up on the. I don't know if he's going to pop up on the Zoom, but he's just got. He looks like an action figure, complete with kung fu grip, right? And he cuts his hair on his own. Then John's like, "Yeah, all you do is you get a mirror. Have you guys ever tried to do something in a mirror and have it just go smoothly? Like, if you ask me to point at something in the mirror, I'm gonna be like, wait, why am I going the wrong direction? So, John, now that we're discussing this live, how long did it take you to be able to functionally operate machinery on the back of your head using a reverse visioned device?
Like a month or two.
So you just had bad haircuts for a month or two.
Yeah, they were okay at first, but yeah, a month or two, and then you get the hang of it.
See, this is how you know people are different. Samir, could you see yourself out here in these streets looking for a month or two, just sloppy? For no reason?
Bro, on God, like when I go away, like I used to have to travel for work somewhat. I plan it around when I know I'm gonna get a fresh cut. So I will move my haircut to flight day
Oh,
and
bro,
get
that's
it
next level.
get my flight. And
That's
I usually don't like to be away for more than 5 days because I don't want to miss my upcoming haircut and then be out there looking raggedy in a different state. So no, I could not go a month or two.
I've gone where I'm having to go back when I got the fades. You like if you're going to be gone longer than is necessary for appropriate upkeep of the edge up, you got to like start researching barbers in the area, right?
Yep.
If you think Supercuts is a barber, you're not qualified for this conversation. No disrespect to Supercuts. So like, and I'm talking about reviews, and then you go in there, Samir. True or false? Have you or have you not walked into a barbershop that you've never been to before and start gauging technique, style, the way they stand in? Let me see how the dude or the person in the chair is looking right now, because I don't care what your review said. If this guy's stuff coming out here with a visible line on this fade, you're not the one.
Yeah, I've walked out of barbershop. So I lived in North Carolina for a year. It was a bit of a surprise move because I went there for what I thought was a maybe move, and then I ended up staying out there. Literally didn't come back. And the amount of barbershops I walked into and then immediately walked out of is wild, because I thought every place had an abundance of good barbershops. In New York, there's barbershops in every corner, so there's a lot of options. In Raleigh, North Carolina, it is not so much the case. So yes, I've walked in, looked at it, gone. You can, if you can, preferably a recommendation ideal. There's someone that used to work, something like that. Get a direct recommendation. That's completely different. I'll take that all day.
Direct recommendations are good, but then I got to know how you like your haircut, right? Because that's not always the same. But then there's the other factor of barbers get comfortable sometimes. Like you have some barbers that they'll get you right the first 2 to 3 cuts, and then they're like, "Oh, this guy's gonna keep coming back," and they're like, "Ah, here you go, you're good. Jump out the chair." No, sir, I'm not good. We're gonna sit right here until you fix this entire mess that you just created. It's tough. Having an appropriate barber is tough, and that's one thing that I will say I do appreciate the stress and the cost of having to go to a barber that consistently is it's a lot easier when you can just knock the cut out in the shower.
Especially if you change your hair often. I have a tendency to change my hair. It takes a few cuts to get the cut right, even if you got a good barber.
It's true because it's the
And
transition. So kudos. First of all, James, no, it's not ridiculous, right? This is your presentation to the world, right? And if you don't think you and your presentation to this planet, right, and the way you look is worth $50, then you don't value yourself enough, sir. You sound like Dave Ramsey right now.
Booksy or The Cut. Those are 2 apps if you guys want to look up barbers and their reviews. Booksy or The Cut. Your barber's not.
The
They
Cut.
have apps? I didn't even know that.
They have apps. Yeah, Booksy is one. The other one is called The Cut. You can like look up a local barber, look up the reviews.
We're gonna
convert a barber if you need to.
Convert John from a self-cutter to a professional, and then we're gonna convert Jasper. He's like, no, this is too much work. Do you know how many dials I could have gotten done while I was looking up? No.
Jasper's in Brooklyn, like the land of barbers.
I go to like a regular hair shop, like a haircut place, and they're pretty good. But like to drop, like, Samir, how much do you spend per every time you go?
I go to my barber regularly, and I've been a while, so I pay $35, but it's usually 50. He charges 50 like anyone else, so I pay $35 every time I go.
Okay, so Samir was recently complaining to me how he doesn't want to spend any money on masterminds, but he's willing to drop like thousands of dollars on his barber.
I didn't say any mastermind.
I'm like,
I said,
what?
I'm not out here willy-nilly throwing 10, 15 bands at every mastermind I get an email for. But haircuts, consistency. Masterminds, I don't know what I'm getting.
Look, here's what we know, right? A lot of this is all in fun, and everybody's got their own opinions, right? And, everybody does things their own way. But one thing we cannot debate is when you go out to an event, for example, at a mastermind, and you get 5 people that walk up to you, right? You get 2 people that walk up to you. One of them is just sloppy, not really well kept, not really put together, right? And then you have somebody who's got the fresh cut. It's a matter of opinion, Jasper. You got somebody with the fresh cut. Jasper said he wasn't sloppy. You got somebody with the fresh cut, the fresh edge up. The knee-jerk reaction for most people is that, wow, this person has their stuff together. Not so sure about this person. Psychologically, that's a fact. Now, is that reflection of reality? No, not at all, obviously. But our psychological knee-jerk reaction, that first impression is, okay, this guy looks clean, right? And has their stuff together. And this person looks a little bit unkept, right? Now, the unkept person may be a secret billionaire, right? And a genius. So that, again, it doesn't necessarily reflect who they are. But if you can, and it matters to you, put your best foot forward, why wouldn't you, right? If it doesn't matter to you, then don't do it. Cut your own hair.
I got
Go ahead.
something.
What you got?
But what if you're not going to masterminds because you're dropping bands on the barber shop, but you could use that money? So would you rather go sloppy or would you not go but look fresh all the time?
Why are you going to the mastermind, for relationships?
I don't know. I mean, I've never been to one.
How many friends are you going to make if you smell like old cheese, Jasper?
It's priorities, Jasper. I picked mine.
See, at least Samir's
I
like,
have no shame.
yeah, he's like, at least that's my priority. It's just masterminds are not his priority. See, I respect that.
Oh, he works in a mastermind every day. What are you even talking about right now? Every day.
Every day.
James like, nah. He's like, I stay with James. Is like, I just stay with my Axe body spray. Anyways, that being said, guys, how's it going? Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the conversation. hopefully you guys enjoyed our ranting. That being said, why don't we go over a couple of calls? Who got a good call? John, you said you got a call, right? Jasper said you got a call?
Yeah, I can go one. It might be a little long, so I'll cut it in between.
Okay. And what we may do for the sake of, because I'm going to catch the theme of the call within the first couple of minutes, right? So let's just see how it goes. We'll play it by ear, try to squeeze in as many calls as we can. Hold on, let me give you permission to share. Also, I'm
John.
eating a ribeye off of a paper plate.
That's when you know you're doing well, when you're eating steak for lunch.
Technically, it's brunch because I didn't eat breakfast. So carnivore life, I guess.
There you go.
Carnivore. I'm putting honey on my steak too. Anybody put honey on their steak?
Wait, what?
It's actually better than you would imagine.
That's crazy.
Do you guys follow the Carnivore MD? Follow the Carnivore MD, right? Some of what he says is very outlandish. However, he does back it with science, which makes it more palatable to a degree. But he's a person I saw do this. And when you eat a steak and you can't put no sauce on it, and like I had to cook this in the air fryer. I'm embarrassed, but not really, because you only have so much time, right? I have too much going on, so I put my freaking steak in the air fryer. So that honey helps. Jasper, why are you looking at me like I'm crazy, man?
Oh my God. That's like one thing I can't do. Like put it in an air fryer. Why don't you just, it's not that, is it like a really thick cut?
It's a ribeye. I mean, it's decently thick. Here's the issue. It's just a time thing. Like I could go stand out at the grill and go back and forth, or I'm gonna let this thing right here. No, I don't gotta flip it. Circulation. I ain't gotta do nothing. I push the button, and in 15 minutes I go back and I put it on my paper plate and I eat it like a grown man. That's what I do, Jasper.
Dan, I'm with you. I was just saying, in fact, I'm gonna do some today.
Let's go. Now, from a culinary standpoint, you're not getting a Michelin star. From a simplicity standpoint, if it wasn't for this, I'd be eating cassava chips and salsa like I do most days. And then I get all angry at the end of the day because I'm hangry because all I've been eating is cassava chips and salsa. So I wanted to avoid that. Jasper's like, what am I listening to right now? Babe, what time did we eat dinner last night? Probably like 11:45. Around, that's what time we ate dinner. It's not because we weren't hungry. We didn't have time to stop and prepare the meal. So it was like, when can we do it? So I ended up making bone broth soup because I could put it there and walk away, right? And finish what I was doing. So at some point in simplicity, if there's anybody who's watching who wants to be a professional in-home chef, holla at me. We got some spots for you here in Albuquerque.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, hold on. Ivana has exciting news that you can't hear, so I'm muting. I'm sharing this, y'all. This is not work related. Jasper, whenever you're ready with the call, we can go to it. So have you guys heard about the Maury Povich drama for our puppies?
Yes.
Okay. So we thought one was the dad, right? So here's a quick breakdown. You got Yorkies, right? Yorkies have a bunch of different types of Yorkies. You got the regular standard Yorkies, and then you have like, what are the Buer Yorkies, and then chocolate Yorkies, and all kinds of different things, right? So we caught two of our dogs in the act, caught them, got it on camera, right? Sold it on OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/puppy porn. This guy right here, we thought it was this guy, right? So we caught them in the act. What happens is, right, it's like the YouTube video or the meme where like, it's, you got two friends of one ethnicity or two couples with one ethnicity and they got a friend of completely different ethnicity. Baby comes out looking the other ethnicity. That's what happens with the puppies. So we had this brown dog come out. Like, where did the brown come from? We don't have any dogs that can produce brown dogs. Except for this one dog that's over here chilling in the corner looking like, wasn't me, right? So the issue was we had a contractual agreement with the person we purchased the chocolate dog from. and we were not supposed to breed that dog. And there's a penalty fee that we have to pay if we did. So we literally had to get DNA tests on all of our dogs to find out who's what. Come to find out, the dog that she just showed that we caught in the act also has chocolate in him. So we're gonna have to do a whole review. Yvonne will run down the hallway crying, and I'm gonna chase her with the camera. It's gonna be a whole thing. It's gonna be fun. So she just got excited because we may not have to deal with the repercussions of
Plus, we
her
wanted
being
him to be the
a
dad.
floozy. Yeah, we wanted him to be the dad, right? Here's why, right? We didn't realize this. First puppy comes out looking like who we thought was the dad. So we're like, oh my God, here's your baby. Look at your baby. And he's all interested and kissing and all this. Then the other one comes out and we're like, oh, actually, it might not be yours. And it was really sad, right? Because now we don't know who the dad is. It's a really tough situation. Like, who's going to pay for this?
He literally-
18 years?
He
18 years?
understands. He'll talk to you. He has talk buttons. He'll tell you.
Yeah, we have
"I'm
those little
hungry,
talk
I
buttons
want
where
a
you push the
treat."
button. You program the button to say something. So it says treat, and he goes in and pushes the button when he wants a treat, pushes the button when he doesn't like what you're saying. He'll say, no, yes, treat, potty outside. Like,
Yeah,
they,
he'll have conversations. He understands. Like, he'll be like, treat. I'm like, you're not getting a treat until you go eat. He'll huff and puff. He'll go, no. And then he'll go and eat.
yeah.
So you can get his treat.
Legitimately, he'll when she says no, you can't get a treat till you eat your food. He'll say no and then walk away mad, and then go eat.
That's
and then
hilarious.
Go back to his treat.
When we told him that he's not the dad, he started whining and he was like,
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Whoops.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. So, anyways, so we maybe he is the dad. We'll find out.
maybe.
Stay on your next episode of
Okay.
Maury Povich. All right, Jasper, let's get it. Let's hear this call.
All right. It started in the. This is like it started recording late for some reason for this one, but here it is.
What's going on with the property? Is this like a personal home or is this like an investment for you?
It had been my personal home.
Oh, it had been your personal home? You're no longer there?
Right, no longer there, living in an apartment now.
Oh, got you. What happened there?
We just wanted to downsize.
Wow. I got you. I mean, did you try listing the property on the market?
Well, we were kind of in no big hurry and didn't get things moved, and then the winter storm came along and busted pipes. And so we've been kind of caught in fixing all that. That's all been fixed as far as, drying it out and re-sheetrocking and so on, but just taking longer than it should.
Damn. Okay. That's unfortunate. Sorry that happened. And so, yeah, I mean, how much are you looking for this, by the way?
You're talking about how much money?
Yeah, I was just wondering to see if it would be a good fit on this.
Well, I haven't, had enough people look at it and give their own thing to know what worked. I look into Zillow. If it kind of goes for that, then I would think at least 140,000.
140,000. Let me take a quick look here. Just go quick here. Let's see. Okay. So you're looking to get about like 140 out of this?
Yes.
Okay. I got you. I mean, yeah. So I mean, other than that whole like storm stuff, like, is the house like okay? Like, what have you done so far to the place?
Oh yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's, pretty recently had the roof done. The hot water heater been replaced by a tankless. The furnace and air conditioning are pretty new, less than 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And since we moved in, we put in tile in a lot of the flooring. I don't know. It's in good shape.
I got you. Yeah. Okay. I hope you're not paying a mortgage on this. I mean, you're paying
No,
rent.
I've owned it outright for some years.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I was just concerned because if you're renting in an apartment and you're paying a mortgage on this, oh, that's like a tough situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely take a look. Oh, by the way, I was taking a look on Zillow. This is a 3-bed, 2-bath?
Yes.
I got you. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely take a look at this and get back with you. If we were to make this agreement work, though, how fast are you looking to sell this one?
Well, I got a reconstruction company started, and then I picked the wrong one because the owner had a bunch of personal disasters, and he didn't finish. So I just now got a different reconstruction company to take it over. So there's still work to be done. They need to finish up redoing the house before I would want to even show it to you.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be maybe within about 3 weeks.
Okay, I got you. So you don't want to sell it as is?
Not as, no, because, my insurance paid for it. So, they're going to pay the amount to bring it up to the state it was when before the storm. So that has to get done before I'd want to sell it. If I'd say sell it to you as is, and it still isn't,
Jasper, stop the recording.
like
I'm gonna share this to my story. I'm inviting people to come and watch and hang out with us. For me, this is a very, very simple call to review. Before I give my feed, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't have any trouble with it. I was just thinking what I could have done better on a call. Because to be honest, this week there was no tough calls that I had that I was struggling with. This was one of the calls where I think I could have dug into it a little more, but I don't know what that would have been.
Okay. Anybody else got any feedback from their perspective before I kind of share my point of view on the call?
I have a little bit. The guy really seems like the guy I had last week, pulling teeth. It seems to be to me, but not quite as bad. Not quite as bad as the one I had. I mean, Jasper had him talking, but he is giving information now. I can't really say that. He is giving him information. He's elaborating a little bit, but he's just really low energy. I mean, the guy, the seller is almost dead to me. Dead, that's all I picked. That's all I can say, but that's what I noticed.
Anybody super held back? Something had him withholding.
Exactly. But I didn't know, I felt that, but I was like, well, shit, I don't know where to take this.
Take it there. So, Linda, what you got? Did you have a thought, so Linda?
Yes.
Okay.
So Jasper, I felt like you were so natural and empathetic, and you said you just really were tuned in with him really well. I felt, and I like how you said, I hope you're not paying a mortgage on this. I thought you were pretty in tune with him, even though he wasn't giving a whole lot back. But I think you did very well trying to connect with him and be on his same, and you mirror him, or if that's the right word.
So go back to the very beginning and let's listen to the first 60 seconds of that.
Okay.
It had been my personal home.
Oh, it had been your personal home. You're no longer there.
Right, no longer there, living in an apartment now.
Oh, got you. What happened there?
We just wanted to downsize.
I got you. I mean, did you try listing the property on the market?
Well, we were kind of in no big hurry and didn't get things moved, and then the winter storm came along and busted pipes. So we've been kind of caught in fixing all that. That's all been fixed as far as, drying it out and re-sheetrocking and so on, but just taking longer than it should.
Damn. Okay.
So that's the first 60 seconds of it.
So go play your next response to him, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Okay.
That's unfortunate. Sorry that happened.
Pause right there.
And so yeah, I mean,
So here's with this call, right? If you separated into categories the different things that mattered in a call, right? You could probably come up with a bunch of them. So let's come up with a couple of examples. This isn't the perfect template, but for the sake of this conversation, right? You have your intro. You have the way you overcome objections, right? You have your fact-finding questions. You have your rapport building, all of these different things, right? These are important elements that you want to have in really any conversation. However, in this circumstance, I want to focus on none of those. Because in this call, I don't think any of that was the issue at all. There's one thing that I think was the biggest issue here. Can you take one guess, if it's not any of those things, Jasper, at what that might be?
Why he's looking to sell?
No, not his pain. Good guess. Voice inflections. Right?
Voice inflection.
Voice inflections. Any thoughts as to why that can matter?
No.
Okay. You guys ever watched a Marvel movie?
Yeah.
Have you ever watched a Marvel movie with all of the music removed?
No.
Google it on YouTube. Check it out on YouTube. Marvel movie with the music removed, right? There's one where the scene, I think it was like Avengers Endgame or something like that, where they're all showing up to fight Thanos, right? And you have this real inspirational music and everybody's flying in and they're all lined up and they're ready to go to war. And what you have in the background is the music that's bringing it all together. It's bringing the emotion to match and support the scene. When you watch that without the music, same superheroes, same fight scene, same flying in with their cool stuff and superpowers, but it just sounds like this weird, boring experience. And you just like hear someone dropping a spoon in the background. It's like, what am I watching? Cool, right? Why does that matter? Because presentation matters. The way things sound dictate how they feel, right? So what does it have to do with this? I'm not necessarily encouraging you to put music in your background every time you make a call. Maybe it'll help, right? But what you can't, if you don't have music, what do you have? You have something more powerful, and that's your voice, right? And the way you say things, if you listen, guys, listen to me talk, right? If you say things in a certain way with a certain level of voice inflections, it's going to change the message entirely, right? So can you go back like 10 seconds? And let's listen to after he says that comment, let's listen to your response to him, and let's listen to it, and I'll tell you when to stop.
10 seconds from right now?
From
or
right now. Go back 10
right
seconds
now?
from
Okay.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're not sharing anymore.
Oh God. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And so on, but just taking longer than it should.
damn. Okay, that's unfortunate. Sorry that happened. And so yeah, I mean, How much are you looking for this, by the way?
Okay, right there, pause. Right? So here's what you said. Oh, damn. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay. So how much are you looking for this, by the way? Right? That's pretty much what you said, more or less how you said it. Would you agree? Okay.
Yeah.
How about, what if you would have said, "Oh my gosh, wow, that's unfortunate." Okay. Well, how much are you looking for? I didn't say any different words than what you said, but let me ask you this and be honest. Did that sound like a different message?
Did.
Jasper, if you added voice inflections to what you're saying in these conversations, it will dynamically change and impact the way that your communications are received, right? Because our ears are tuned to hear things, right? There's a reason why we enjoy listening to good singers, but don't enjoy listening to bad singers. Have you ever thought about that? Right? Have you ever thought about it? Anybody can sing, but nobody's lining up to listen to bad singers. Why? What is it about our brains that are less interested in hearing somebody sounding like a hurt parrot, right? We don't necessarily know why, but maybe our brains, and maybe somebody does know, I don't know, but could it be that our brains automatically acclimate and enjoy something that sounds enjoyable to us, and something that's flat and that has no pitch and that has no engaging factor about it just becomes this monotone thing that we want to tune out, right? We do this in all aspects of our life, and we do it in conversation, right? If you guys ever want to go back, go listen to the way I talk, right? Listen to the way I say things. I'm always like, I'm going to emphasize, and I'm going to go up, and I'm going to go down, and I'm going to focus, and I'm going to say it in a certain tone of voice, because I want my voice and the way I say things to match the message of what I'm trying to say. I can't trust and expect the words to do that by themselves, because if words alone did that, movies wouldn't need music, right? You need a supporting actor there. And that needs to be those voice inflections. And there's also we can get into, which is a different conversation, about pauses and punctuations, where you stop, where you talk a little higher, where you talk a little bit lower, where you whisper a little bit, right? Whether you realize it or not, Brandon does this a lot. Brandon's famous. I listen to him do it all the time. He does it regularly, where he'll whisper, right? When he really wants to get their attention, he's going to ask them a difficult question, or a transition, or like a transitionary question. I'll be like, so, well, let me ask you, right? And what that does is that brings them into the, yeah. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I noticed that. As soon as you did it, I was like, what is he talking about? And then once you did it, I noticed it.
Yeah. So what does that do? Well, when you do things like that, when you lower your voice, it's a minor pattern interrupt, in that something's changed and they're like, oh wait, what changed? Right? And they listen in a little bit more, because now you're talking quieter. So they have to pay more attention to you. And because they have to pay more attention to you, you actually have their attention for whatever important question or point that you're going to be making, right? You can be very intentional about all of this. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So here's the one thing I'll say. This is not easy to do if it's not your default. Some people, it's their default, and it's not that difficult to add. If it is, it's simple to do. It's just difficult to remember, right? So I would practice. What I would do is I would practice going in and really just saying, hey, how are you doing today? Hey, how are you doing today? Hey, how are you doing today? Right? And just say things like that. Write a sentence down, Jasper. And I'm going to challenge you to do this. Challenge yourself to do this. Take 5 sentences, right? 5 sentences you think you would use consistently in a seller call. Write them down. And say each of those words with a different voice inflection, right? Here's next step 2 to that challenge, right? Because this is where you're starting to get a little bit more tactical. This is the next level of this. Challenge yourself to make statements that you write down and phrase them in ways that make them sound like questions, for example, right? And here's an example that I know you know. Somebody says, oh, I want $250,000. What's the response to do this effectively? Do you know what it is? I know you know the answer. Jasper? You know the answer.
You just say 250.
So
and
what did
say
you just
something.
do? You took a statement and you turned it into a question by doing what? Adding a voice inflection. Right? Do you see how powerful that is? You made a complete sentence by changing the way you said the word. Right? So what I would do is step 1, write down 5 sentences, practice different voice inflections, and then step 2, see if you can take that to the next level and make those same statements, turn them into questions, right? Turn them into something that's going to make them think. See how much you can play with the words on any given sentence. And when you really, really do that, Jasper, you're going to realize how powerful a word is. How powerful a single word can be if said properly. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. I'm really interested because you're really good at deploying stuff. Are you going to do this?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
to me, it's like something inputs, I try. If it fails, it fails. But like, I'm going to try it.
Yeah. I'm really interested in hearing your feedback on this. And it's going to be difficult because it's not your default, right? So, and this goes into the next step. The reason I'm having you do this exercise is just like any exercise. You're getting the muscle memory. You're creating muscles that you don't have right now because it's not your default form of communication. Most analytical type people, this is not how they communicate. And so that's understandable. And so it's going to be extra hard for you to do it. You're going to have to be intentional, but this is where you're going to get your foundational kind of starting point for the muscles that you will develop over time. And a lot of times, especially when we're creating new habits, it comes into buy-in. Like, what's my buy-in? You need to believe that it's going to work, right? You want to make sure it's not going to be placebo effect, right? And so once you've done it, it's a psychological reality. Once you've done it enough times, you're like, holy crap, that sounded so much different. Holy crap, right? And then you're gonna start seeing it play out in sentences. Here's what I would say: that entire call, if you changed 0 words, you changed 0 order, and you just added voice inflections, conversation would have made that much bigger of a difference. You would have engaged him, and you probably would have. And here's the thing: it's just like anything else. People are emotional. We are emotional human beings. We've discussed this. Even logical people who say they make decisions based on logic only. I use logic and reasoning and research. That logic is founded on emotions, right? So if music helps engage the emotion in a movie, our voice inflections help engage the emotion in a conversation. You want to get somebody to open up, it's probably much less likely that it's going to be a cool one-liner that gets them to do it. What's going to get them to do it? Well, organically, we understand this. You're going to make them feel comfortable. How do you make them feel comfortable? You engage their emotions, right? Put the music in, add the voice inflections, and you'll start saying, okay, now I feel a little bit more comfortable. Okay, I'll say this, I'll say that. You'd be amazed at how big of an impact it can make. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
100%. There is another set of line, and we'll do this. Maybe we'll do this next time. We'll do it a different time. And we'll talk about, remind me to do this. And we'll talk about pauses, right? We'll talk about pauses. What happened?
No, I that's something I really want to work on as well.
Okay. Pauses, punctuations, it'll transform. This is the whole thing. We'll break it down, and I'll write down some sentences for you guys. And we'll show you the impact of where you pause and what it is, where you add punctuations. It's an add-on to voice inflection. They go hand in hand, and you add both of them together, you're dangerous in the way you communicate. So yeah, we'll try to do that on the next one. Let's try to squeeze in one more call and feedback before we wrap up here. John, you got something, man?
I do have a call here. Mine's kind of long too, so I'll cut it in the middle.
Okay.
Let me start sharing.
Hello, it's John.
Hi, John. You left a message for me.
Yeah.
Not sure who.
Yes. Thank you for the call back. Am I speaking with Marcy?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Marcy. Awesome. I was calling. I'll be real quick. I was calling because you had spoken to a member on our team about a property in Salem on Orbit, and he left me a note that you were possibly looking to sell it, and I just wanted to see to confirm if that was true.
Okay.
Were you still looking to sell that, or
I could.
you could? Perfect. Besides the price, I mean, any specific reason you would be looking to sell this?
I never intended to own it this
Uh,
to be a shortcut.
I'm so sorry. Could you repeat that? What you had just said?
I never intended to own it this long.
Oh, you never intended to own it this long. Okay. And I'm looking, if you could just bear with me, my team members' notes are a little hard to read, the handwriting. Could you tell me about, a little bit more about the property? Is this something you live in?
It is not. It's a rental.
Okay.
New
It's
build.
a rent.
Subdivision.
Got it. It's a rental, new built, and we want to respect obviously the tenants in there. Are they on like a month-to-month lease with you or a yearly lease?
Yeah. Month to month.
Okay, month to month. So they would need, if you were to sell it, but I'm assuming 30 days notice?
I believe in that county it might be 90 days, but I've already given them a written notice that I was going to sell in the spring. So.
Oh, okay.
That would support it.
Got it. Perfect. So you already gave them notice in the spring?
That I was going to sell in the spring.
Oh, okay.
So I
Got
think
it.
that would suffice.
Okay, got it. So
I
I know you had mentioned
let's
that
hear this last
you
question.
never
Go ahead, Lou.
planned
Go ahead,
or
this next
intended
question.
to own this house for this long. After you sell this, are you wanting to buy another rental property or maybe put it towards your house?
I'm selling my house as well, so probably another rental property.
Okay,
Got it.
pause it out. So here's what I've noticed, and it's funny. This has happened 2 weeks in a row where we have themed situations. Kiambo, you see where I'm going with it, guys? Give us your thoughts, man.
I was just saying it's the same thing. When I was listening to it, I was like, it's the same thing Jasper was just experiencing. Now, I wouldn't even, honestly, I do the same thing, guys. So I'm not coming at you guys, but I do this. If this call would have been me, it would have been the same thing. But I'm noticing, like you said, it's the same thing like last week. We're experiencing the same situation. There was a lack of the inflection, but I wouldn't even know to look for it until you mentioned it. So it's just that now my eyes are now open to something new that it wasn't before, basically.
No, that's awesome. And here's the one thing that I'll add to that, John, is yes, the voice inflections were there, and that was a big part of it. But there's one other thing that was taking place, and it was you were letting her lead the emotional pace of the conversation, right? So when you started out giving information, and when she didn't give back, instead of engaging more and putting her in a position to feel more comfortable to engage, you sat back, right? So you were subtly being reactive to her tone. You were mirroring not just her pace, but you were mirroring her energy. And as a result, the conversation was really slow going out of the gate. And when she started answering more, you started feeling comfortable asking more questions, right? So in that sense, you let her lead in that part of the transaction, and I would reverse that, right? So when she's not giving it to you, throw in the voice inflections to help and re-engage, right? Because a lot of times it's just like, when you're in school back in the day and you're dancing, somebody's waiting for somebody to lead, and that's what was happening in this call. And you were waiting for her to lead, and she was waiting for you to lead, and as a result, everybody's like, well, who's going to lead this thing here? And there's this unspoken, okay, I guess we'll awkwardly stumble through the call. But every time she got really communicative, you got communicative. Every time she stopped talking, you stopped talking. And what I would say is always be the leader in engaging the conversation, right? Make her feel like, okay, I can come to the dance because he knows where he's going.
Okay, got it.
Does that make sense? Can you pick up what I'm saying in the call, hearing about?
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly how I felt because I was like, oh, do I keep pushing when she's not giving me a lot? Because she was really, really short initially in the call. So I'm like, what do? I guess I'll just start asking some more questions,
Yeah.
That was my thought process.
No, and so it's an act as if, right? Sometimes you just got to act as if. So Celinda is saying to demonstrate that. Let's play it out. So John, I'm going to call you and kind of try to have that same energy.
Okay.
So yeah, John, I was calling you back here. I know that you had spoken to somebody on my team and you were talking about, selling this property. How's that process been going?
It's been okay.
Okay, interesting. When you say okay, what have you been dealing with? Have you accepted an offer yet?
We're just looking at what's coming in.
Gotcha. So you're getting a number of offers, it sounds like.
Yeah, we've gotten a few offers here and there. Nothing doesn't seem like something too serious.
Oh, well, congratulations, at least on getting the offers. What about them? Like, so are they not serious because they sound low, or does the person that you're dealing with just not sound serious?
Probably a combination of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask where the numbers are coming in at? Maybe I know where to stay away from.
I mean, they're coming in pretty low. They've been giving us lowball offers of what we've been asking for.
Okay. So let me say this, John. I'm going to reset for a second. What I don't want to do is duplicate the experiences that you've been having up to this point, right? So why don't we just start with what matters to you? Like, first of all, what has you even interested in selling this thing in the first place?
We never intended to own it this long. So we want to get rid of it now.
Gotcha. So was this like an investment property?
It was a rental, yes.
It was a rental. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it still occupied by chance? Do you mind?
Yeah, tenants are still in there right now.
Gotcha. Okay. And then maybe was it just a frustration from kind of COVID and all the stuff that everybody went through with that?
Yeah, a combination of all that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
So I don't want to waste your time on this, right? And so maybe what we do is we have a follow-up conversation to get into more detail. My goal is to make sure we're the right fit. There's a lot of people in this business and some of them have different goals. I like to respect both of our times really well. If I'm serious and interested in the property, you're going to know because I'm going to stay talking to you. And if it's not a fit for me, I'm just going to respect your time and let you do what you wish because this is your property. So let's just start with what's the number that you want to see. You own this property, you had it as an investment. I'm sure you have a number in mind.
Yes. We're ideally want to get as close to $400,000 as possible.
Gotcha. Okay, so is that around what you paid for it?
Yeah, we paid a little under that.
Okay. Just kind of walk away clean. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I don't want to, as I said, I don't want to waste any time. I don't know if that number works. I have to go back and do a little homework on my side, make sure the numbers where we need it to be on our side as well. However, if it is, here's kind of what that process looks like for us. What I'm going to do is run some numbers, do my homework. And then when I call you back, if I call you back and say that this is a fit for me and I can do your number, then ideally, normally what we do is we send out e-signature contracts and then we're really ready to start the process pretty quickly, right? So let's say I call you back this afternoon and the number, we agree on the number. Are you ready to sign today or do you guys need some time to think about this?
I mean, I'd have to go over it with my wife, and we'd have to talk it over. But yeah, if it's a good number, we're ready to move on it.
Okay. So maybe it makes more sense for us to just schedule a call with the three of us and kind of just chat through what's important to all of us. And then we can kind of make a decision and go from there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. And then I'm assuming if everybody's on board, you guys are ready to sell now. And the reason why I ask, because sometimes people are just shopping for numbers and they want to sell in like 90 days, which is totally fine, but I need to just plan for that on my side.
Yep.
Okay. So you're ready to sell now if everything makes sense.
If it makes sense, numbers are good, we're ready to sell.
Okay, perfect. Did my number come through on the caller ID?
It did. Yep. I see it right here.
Okay, perfect. So if you want to save that in, my name is Daniel. This is actually my personal cell. Any questions or any concerns pop up in the meantime, feel free to shoot me a text, give me a call. Otherwise, you'll be hearing from me probably this afternoon, if not maybe tomorrow.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Great. It was great speaking with you.
Thanks, Daniel.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, big difference with like Keon was saying, the inflections, man. All the questions you were asking. I could feel myself. I was just comparing and contrasting with the way I was asking questions on the call versus you. Obviously, I want to be engaging with you more with those voice inflections. Like a lot of them were essentially the same questions, but it's the inflections that make all the difference, right?
It really is, right? And I think a lot of times, especially in the sales world, people get caught up with, why would you say it like that? Why'd you say that? This is the line. You gotta use your intro. And all those things are cool, but really what's more important is how you're saying it, how the message is being. You can say something really not that great, but say it the right way and still get across the finish line.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? So if the phrase is you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, then maybe the comparison for this example is if you say the wrong thing the right way, right? It covers the mistake of saying the wrong thing. Just make sure you're saying it the right way. You can actually say, and I forget where this was, I don't know if it was a comedian or somebody was giving the example of, you can actually say some pretty rude things to people. I don't encourage this, but it was a comedian or somebody who was saying really, really rude things to people, but he was saying it in a way that sounded kind of joking. And people were completely okay with getting utterly disrespected because he said it in a way that was kind of like, oh, he must be joking. Okay, haha. I didn't know I looked fat in this shirt, right? Like, so you can get away with a lot. Now, obviously, we don't want to use that for a negative advantage, but it just goes to show that, we put ourselves under this pressure of saying all the perfect lines and getting it across the right, without any mistake in the way I phrase my sentences. But the reality is if you just say it the right way, you can mess up quite a bit and people won't notice.
Makes sense.
Okay, let me look through this here.
I think someone want to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to say what I like, if that's all right. I like so how you were saying, I needed to hear that and see it, the emotional leading that you talked about. So you found something good and congratulated them. Oh, congratulate and smiled to bring. Well, that's for me. The smile would bring up my voice.
Yep.
Because I have to work on the inflection too. To say, to bring it up some. So that was really good. And then that question about what had you interested in selling anyway, that's always a tough one for me. Like it feels awkward to me. So the way you placed it and the inflection, I'm going to practice some of that to make it feel more natural to me and therefore to them. And then even like, are you ready to, if we can get if that number works for us, are you ready to sell now, or do you have to think about this? But something about the way you did that inflection made it not like pushy salesperson and also not too soft. So yeah, I'm going to be practicing. I'm going to record my voice so I can hear like how to do some of that.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, and I appreciate that feedback. Yeah, for me, when it comes to the whole back end, as far as asking, I'm big on upfront contracts, and you can use them in a bunch of different scenarios. But I'm just going to clarify, right? And I do this all the time. It's kind of an unspoken rule for me is I'm really big on, okay, so if we do X, the if I could, would you is probably one of the most powerful tools. It's one of the better ones. So if I do this, are you doing this? If I go run my numbers, are you signing today? And I usually, the way I disarm it is, are you signing today or are you doing it later? I'm not trying to lead you. I'm just trying to know.
Yeah.
Because what happens is a lot of times we think, again, right? We think because they're talking to us, they're interested. That's not true, right? And so imagine going and putting all this work and getting excited. I got a deal. And they're like, ooh, that sounds amazing. Email me your offer. We're not making a decision for the next 60 days.
Right.
Right? Don't you want to know that in advance?
Yeah.
And because it's going to tailor even how you present your offer. Okay, just so you know, I ran my numbers, right? It sounds like you need some time, right? If you wait and they tell you that at the end, now you're on the back foot trying to recover. But if I know that in advance, okay, here's my offer, just so you know, this will probably change between now and 60 days. Market's changing a lot, but this is where I'm at right now, right? So if the market goes down as we're thinking it's going to, the offer probably will as well. That's out of my hands. It's just because the property will be worth less, so take that in consideration. Here's where I'm at, right? See what they say. Then say, let me ask you this, just, out of curiosity, what changes between now and 60 days? right? Now you can start going down that road. And they may, you know, be like, yeah, well, we don't move into our new property until X date. Okay, so you just want to have somewhere to live. Well, what if we close and put in the contract that you can stay here and we give you a move date? That you could have a very simple solution to their problem by asking, right? But we just don't ask the questions. And so we assume that, oh, they got to shoot, now my offer's trash. And then we get pissed off and we don't follow up with them, right? And then somebody else who thinks about this calls and closes them in a week, right? And offers them, you know, the ability to stay in the property for 60 days because that's really all they needed. You know what I mean? And so these are the things that are important to ask. So I always will do that. If someone is like, oh my God, I'm just send me the contract. I want to sell this house. You're going to give me $100,000? Yes, please. Do you think I'm going to get excited and send over a contract? No, I am not. Amazing. And this is what I'm saying. Amazing. I'm super happy. This is like, it doesn't always work out like this. I'm glad we were able to come to the same page just to make sure I'm clear on my side. So here's what we are. This is the number. When I send this, right, and I'm saying when now because he's excited. When I send this over to you, you're signing this afternoon. I'm opening up title and we're ready to close this transaction. Is that correct? I'm recapping, right? I'm letting you know what I'm doing because your idea of selling this property may not be my idea of selling this property, right? So let's make sure we're on the same page. And guess what? When I email that contract over, I'm not just going to email it and hope they respond. I'm going to have that email prepped and I'm going to call them on the phone. I'm going to be like, hey, Bill, how are you doing? And I'm going to make sure you got a couple minutes because I want to walk you through the contract. Yeah. Okay. Give me 20 minutes. I'm going to prep the contract. I'll call you back. Hey, Bill, it's been 20 minutes. Are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Amazing. Check your email. And I'm hitting send when he's in front of his computer. Not hitting send before that. When he's in front of his computer, I'm hitting send. And we're walking through that contract and then getting that. Hope they respond. Oh, echo. Very nice. That's the approach that I'm taking with these things because it's all about just making sure your guidelines are your guidelines. That's how you track your success. That's how you take KPIs, and that's how you keep your brain out of people's heads. It becomes very easy when we do this every day to think that everybody kind of understands the basics of this. Remember when you first started, this was all foreign to you. You had no clue how any of this worked. And so you just it's safe to assume that most people don't. And if you're dealing with somebody that's seasoned and knows what they're doing, then you can talk from that place. But short of me knowing that you're an active investor and understand this process, I'm going to walk you through it like it's your very first time. And I'm going to do the hand holding to the extent that it's necessary because it protects both of us. Make sense? And then as for the voice inflections, yeah, Celinda, I would challenge all of you guys. I gave that challenge to Jasper. I would genuinely challenge all of you guys. Go do that. Write 5 sentences down that you would use in any conversation, and then just come up with ways to, matter of fact, let's do this. This can be our follow-up, right? If not the next one, within the next 1 or 2, we'll do the pauses in sentences. But I would genuinely make this, write 5 sentences down that you would use in a conversation, right? Make it about 5-word sentences. Don't make it too crazy, right? And then practice saying them. Just use inflections on words differently, right? And just see how it sounds, right? Say, oh, you wanted $250,000. Amazing, right? You wanted $250,000, right? So it's just say it different ways. Really, really mess with it. Find out how many different experiences you can create from one 5-word sentence, and then do it until it sounds natural. Then do it till you're really, really good at it, and then do it until you feel comfortable doing it on a conversation with another person. Repeat it. Oh, John's got, what's going on, Mrs. John? I don't know her. John, what's your lady's name, man?
Oh, her name's Shayla.
Who?
Shayla, hi. How are you?
Hi. I was like, why do you have like so many videos up?
Well, we saw you jumping in here and directing traffic, so we figured to say hello. That's awesome. So yeah, guys, give that a shot. I would say give that a challenge. And then John, practice with her. Just say how it sounds. And I'm telling you, and it's actually a fun exercise because you really, really get to challenge yourself and just be like, wait, hold on. I could have said it like this. I could have said it like that. And you really don't realize how much power you have in your conversations.
It's funny because she's always telling me, she's the one that is drilling into my head. Hey, you can get whatever you want. It just depends on how you say it. So this is totally up the alley.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. Okay, guys, do you guys have any final questions before we wrap this up? Comments, concerns, complaints,
Just
little finger emojis?
Just thanks, man. Let's just keep doing this. That's all. This is going to help us grow. That's all. I love it.
I love it. Awesome. Yeah, it's exciting. I really enjoy doing this, and it's funny how just there's so many different things that you can experience in a call that you just don't know because you're in your head and you're just doing the thing, right? And it's perspective. You don't know. If I look at this bottle of honey, right? Here's the reality of life. We'll wrap up with this analogy, right? I'm gonna put this bottle of honey a little bit closer to the camera, right? If I was sitting here living my life saying, "Oh no, this says Kirkland Organic Raw Honey," right? You guys would say, "No, it does not. It's a barcode with a bunch of small words." Bro, no, it's Kirk. I'm looking at it right now. How many people live their life in the relationships that we're in or in the conversations that we're having with our prospects, getting frustrated that people aren't seeing where we're coming from, right? Because usually we think it's a question of right or wrong, when the reality is it's just a matter of perspective. And if we can get good enough at conversation and communication to be able to let people know that I understand you're seeing this and I'm seeing this. My job is not to convince you that you're wrong. My job is to convince you that there is another side. And I'm here to work you through the process of seeing all of those things. When we can do this effectively, communication in our life is transformed in our relationships with our friends, with our families, and definitely in business. Because a lot of these sellers that we're calling on any given day are getting conversations from people over here, and they're over here. And it sounds like that call that we had the other night on the Nightly Dollar. She's like, "You sound like every other person, but you're not saying nothing." Why do they feel like that? Because they're looking for this. They're looking for someone to relate to this, who understands this. And you're over here with your one-liners because you're in a sales program. Great, that's cool, but nobody's impressed. Congratulations at being really, really good at phrasing that opening really impressively in your team role plays. I'm glad your team was impressed. But if it didn't convert sellers into good relationships that got you a contract, you wasted your time, right? Stop singing to the choir and turn around to the audience and ask them what they're interested in hearing. That's going to be what transforms the business. And that's our job. Our job is to recognize that both exist and use good communication to bridge those gaps. You know what I mean? So that being said, to the YouTube people, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We were here for about an hour. We had a good debate on proper adult hygiene. I'm interested in hearing y'all's feedback on that. If you didn't hear that portion, go back to the beginning. Give us your thoughts. Put your thoughts in the comments. Are you a self-cutter, right? Are you a self-haircutter? Are you, do you just not bathe like Jasper? I'm not sure, right? Sorry. I'm sorry, Jasper. I didn't mean that, bro. But that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will be doing this more often. We do these call calibrations every Friday. We might be streaming these more often. Make sure you follow and subscribe. Go like and follow us on YouTube. And we'll see you guys next time. That being said, to the rest of the team, hold on.